Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Age of Empires 4 replay. Spawn on bottom right side or top left side as the Magenta Holy Roman Empire with Really Unskilled. Spawn on bottom right side as the blue French with Sensei. Economic benefits. For the Holy Roman Empire, they do have the prelates. They make certain villagers have 40% increase. Though I would say that there is a potential that there would be another massive economic benefit coming from the Agion Chapel. Agion Chapel is a landmark, in my opinion, the most powerful Age 2 landmark in the game, giving plus 40% collection rate for nearby resources. But next is putting it right here, which will give them X amount of gold, stone, and some wood to go along with it. And then once they're all collected on up, you get farms with good collection rate. A very powerful and flexible landmark. And the French, for their economic benefits, is they get additional villager production speed. It's like 10, 20, 30, 40%, I believe it was, a faster villager production speed. So you do get a slight advantage of villagers. Nothing too significant, but it is nice to have. And we have the Agion Chapel being pulled out on the front line in an area that I probably would disagree with, and I do disagree with. This is much better to me. Of course, we'll let him get some good collection rate with the berries, as well as some wood. If you want a better food collection rate, he can always bring up the sheeple to it. The French is signed for the School of Cavalry. Gives you a stable, and all your stables produce 20% faster. I say the biggest thing about this landmark is the fact that it is simply a stable. So you don't have to spend time to task villagers to collect up wood to build out units. By the way, let's go ahead and talk about the Age 2 unique units. The French has the Royal Knight, a slightly better knight, and also available in Age 2. It has a little bit extra benefits, as well as a bit more what I call devotion. More research to go along with as well, giving their charge attack is increased, and there's a research to make it even better, as well as chivalry, making you give you health for your combat. So if you got a lot of wounded knights, research chivalry, and it will pay for itself. You have enough time because these guys do have a good amount of health. The Holy Roman Empire unique unit in Age 2 is the Feudal Age Man-at-Arms, one of the hardest things to deal with the entire game. Because in Age 2, most factions, nearly every single faction in the game has something that does not have something to engage strongly against the early Man-at-Arms. Sure, you could say that some factions that get heavy cav, like the French, can deal with them a little bit better. But I disagree, because they can just mix in some spearmen along with those men-at-arms, and voila! You got something that the Royal Knights can't really cage into, so likely the French composition will be Archer Knight, usually because they don't want to deal with spearmen. The Holy Roman Empire player, I would assume he's going to go for Archer, Spearmen, and with some men-at-arms mixed on in. Spearmen to engage the Knights, Archers to engage the Archers, and the men-at-arms to be the actual powerhouse unit. As for the man-at-arms, would be a good counter versus the archers, as well as something to force the Royal Knights to fight, probably inopportune. Additionally, the Holy Roman Empire player does have probably the best man-at-arms in the game, with 2 pair of Castle Age upgrades to make them very good. Let's see now. Also, the French is eyeing for a second town center with a mountain of villagers on stone. It appears that the Holy Empire player is going aggressively defensive with his spearmen. Also has his horsemen out on the field. Right now, the Holy Empire player does have 14 military in the field, which will give him good defense against the Royal Knights. There's only 2 on the field, which they're both located here. One on the build queue, a couple archers being pulled out by the French now. The horsemen will be a good item to engage those archers, of course, because horsemen get bonus damage versus archers. Or anything ranged in general. Zog Doggo now being stabbed. I do have, looks like another concept being pulled out And actually, look at here. Now we got the forest puppers. You also got the Pumbaa. Villagers now standing on the ground trying to shank some of these spearmen. He does not have enough archers to hit these spearmen. He does cancel the town center there as well, so good harassment there. He's decided to retard pass onto these forest puppers here, but this was a really good spot with Pumbaa and the forest puppers there. That was a great source of food. After all, Akuna Matata means he has a wonderful amount of meat inside. Alright, and I'm probably butchering that. We do now have, looks like a couple of villagers there on the gold. Survival techniques being researched by the Holy Empire. He's going to get his own forest puppers. Does have an outpost nearby. Has 5 villagers tasked there. Also going to task another 5 villagers onto these forest puppers. Royal Knights now making their way forward with a scout in tow. We do have an outpost here. Not enough room for all these villagers, however. He does not have arrow slits for research. Local doggo demands head pats. And we do have a good number of villagers here. A handful of archers here as well. Spearman does not go down. There's a good number of spearmen here trying to chase down those knights. One of Blue's villagers do go down. Huh. I know he has had a second town center, but I don't think there was enough time to build this many villagers. Maybe it was. But either way, Blue does have a slight villager advantage and will continue to grow. The Golden Empire players about ready to get to the next age, collecting up these berries. You will probably build the Regni's Cathedral, or no, it could be possible to build the Bulgar Palace in order to get out a big wave of infantry. Both are possible. French player is pretty far from aging up, needs a lot more gold and food. Now we do have the Regni's, how do you pronounce it? Regnit Castle Cathedral, which will allow him to get double gold from relics. Who's now advancing forward with some archers, showing that Mill who is boss. It looks like the French player's dying to collect some of these forest puppets now. Oh, nope, he's going for a Pumbaa. The cathedral's now up, and now he can collect up those relics. Villagers may receive some fire there. He does have textiles, which prevents the 1-2 swipe of the Royal Knights. Maybe a good idea to go for the hardened spearman or the veteran spearman research as well, or something to also engage these archers. Regular Knights on the right now would be useful. He does have 3 on the build queue. Knight does see a bit of damage there. These archers do have 6 damage at the moment, so he needs to get one more Pupil Storm to make it so they do 50% less damage, 1 damage each. On advancing forward, Knights now mixed on in. Horsemen and Knights will be able to deal with these archers no problem. Spearmen looks like in general a move forward to get as many slices as they can. Knight now advancing forward as well, trying to find engagement on the Royal Knights. Of course, he will get easily overwhelmed if he's by himself. Spearman, of course, now engaging these Royal Knights. Prelate now getting some healing there onto the Knight, keeping him alive for now. And it looks like that Knight does stay alive thanks to that Prelate. Magenta has picked up one relic. Blue's now advancing forward some Royal Knights and Archers here. Regular Knight advancing on forward. Knight does go down there. Horsemen and Knights are engaging. And some good damage there. Knights and Horsemen are falling on back.
Ritter, staan bereitet euch, wir marschieren. Bereitet euch, Gesellen.
Lower Empire player is actually pretty low on food at the moment, so he will need to collect up some more. Or he is collecting more. Got berries being collected up as well. There's still plenty of forest peppers. So it seems like his food was unnecessarily low for some odd reason. Food income at least, but that looks like it has to change. Knights are now closing on in, getting some good damage there onto these archers. French player still is not aged up and still a bit far away from aging up as well. It looks like Magenta's archers starting to go on down, or spearmen. Magenta's eyeing for just full knight production. At this point in time, full knight production is probably good. He doesn't have any additional pierce armor at the moment, which I have to say is a big problem. He can cut the archer damage in half if he gets pierce armor. Some of these Royal Knights need to fall back and get healed up by chivalry. Another mill deployed out here in order to collect up the forest puppers, and now eyeing for a line of walls. Guild Hall now being researched. I do like the Guild Hall. The Guild Hall automatically generates resources, and it generates resources faster if there's more resources stored in there. It's a great way to get a whole bunch of stone over time, so by the time you get up to Red Palace for the next age, you can get a lot of keeps as well. The boar is still being cleaned on up. The boar has 100 food left, not a whole lot. And the French are running out of natural food sources over here. There are some berries he's cleaning up, but that's going to be very quickly. There's also a good amount of resources down here to claim. A town over here could be reasonable, and there may not be enough space there. Villagers getting hit as well. Some of those villagers do go down. Getting back some prime rib. Got a single spearman here as well. Knights are simply getting overwhelmed. A good item to go along with the French Royal Knights is, against his opponent's Knights, is probably the Arbaletiers. Who's going to lose some villagers back in the back line? Very good. These Knights are falling back. We don't see the... Oh, we do see the veteran Royal Knight research. These forces moving around. Archers now making their way towards the center of the map. I've got Magenta now eyeing for a second town center. That's a little bit unusual. He may not eye the Palace of Swabia. He decides, like, I need another town center now. Also, the spell that will go down to the Knights. We got a good number of villagers here. Idle, so it needs to be retasked. Not many deer left as well, so both sides need to start eyeing to go transition to some farms. There's a couple berry bushes here and another round of berry bushes here for Magenta claim, but both players are running low on food resources. The French player does have a significant amount of wood sort of, so you can transition to farming, no problem. Villager does go down there. We do have a good number of spearmen here, but there's good number of archers in return. Looks like these villagers will go get inside, but did take a bad path overall. Mercenary repair will keep that tower nice and alive. Now got some arbaletiers deployed on out.
Ritter im Sattel. Halt, ihr edle Gesellen! Ich lebe so geholfen.
So a handful of idle villagers. Oh no. Okay, it does fall back in time, and now here comes a charge. Magenta has picked up 3 relics. Blue has 1 and a Sphere of Influence. This other one's pretty safe for blue as well. Knights are falling back. There's 11 knights here versus 10 Royal Knights. Blue does get a decent charge attack there. I wonder what resource is going for the guild hall. How these guys are charging. Guild hall. He's going for food. That's usually default. I wonder if he actually does want food. He could aggressively claim gold and then click on the button there if he wants to get enough food for his age up. Of course, this also means as well there's not a lot of food left on the map I mentioned beforehand, so that's maybe a good transition item until he gets enough wood for farms. That knight does go down, still got a arbaletier in the region. These forces are really advancing forward. The knights coming for a flank. We'll get a decent hit on these forces with a charge back. So we're advancing forward, a little bit out of position there. This Royal Knight will charge forward. We'll find a scout. Looks like that knight does go down. We have a handful of arbaletiers in this army. Just 2. Scouts and horsemen, knights advancing forward. Spearmen as well. And the town center arrows is getting some decent damage there onto those archers and arbaletiers. A couple of villagers do go down. Blue's now killed 7 villagers. Spearman easily goes down there. Magenta has a much smaller army at the moment. He's only doing a couple of knights as well. Spearman now advances pop out of the town center and engage. Knights and spearmen are getting some good hits there as well. It looks like one of the arbaletiers did go down. Archers do bonus damage to spearmen. It looks like Magenta will simply get overwhelmed, and Magenta goes back on the game now. That's Anna Grade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.